Good evening, football fans. This is Carolina Varsity's 2015 Big South 3A 2A conference breakdown for Week 10. And I'm Jeff Miller,
I'm Anthony Perkins.
and we're going to first of all start off with the current standings on the Big South 3A 2A. And Anthony, go ahead and fill us in on what you got.
Okay, overall in the conference, South Point is in a lone position. They have sole possession, first place, with a 6-2 overall record, a 4-0 conference record. Forest View is in sole possession of second place with a 4-4 overall, a 3-1 conference record. East Gaston, Ashbrook, and Stuart Kramer are tied currently in second place, second, third, and fourth place. I'm sorry, third, fourth, and fifth place in the conference. East Gaston's overall record is 4-4. Ashbrook's overall record is 4-4. Stuart Kramer has a 5-3 overall record. All three teams sit at 2-2 in the conference. Stuart Kramer is a 2A school. The other Ashbrook and East Gaston are 3A schools. North Gaston and Hunter Huss, they are both sitting at 1-3 in the conference, and therefore in a tie for sixth place. Huss has a 2-6 record overall. North Gaston has a 3-5, and Lake Norman Charter is in last. Well, I'm sorry, they're also tied in sixth place as well, with a 1-3 conference record and a 3-4 overall record. Uh,
Right now, and the playoff implications, as they stand right now, South Point is definitely in, and at the six wins, that's over the minimum. They're 4-0 in conference, so they're in no matter what. And Forest View, I believe they are one more win from sealing a conference or a playoff spot because they're currently at 4-4 and they are 3-1 in conference play. So one more win, and of course that being a conference win would pretty much safely put them in. And then Ashbrook and East Gaston below Forest View, and Ashbrook's got two winnable games coming up. Well, their game with Forest View Friday, that's going to determine, in my opinion, the second spot of the Big South, unless one of those teams does furthermore tripping downhill. And East Gaston right now, I think they have an outside chance for the number two spot, but a lot is going to have to happen, very similar to 2004. And then North Gaston, that loss to Stuart Kramer puts you guys in danger of not making the playoffs, and it doesn't get easier from here. You only have the only winnable game I see on your schedule is Lake Norman Charter, and that's the final week. You got East Gaston this week and South Point next week. Now, Stuart Kramer, we talked about you being 5-3 and 2-2, and right now y'all have sole possession of first place in the 2A portion of the conference due to Lake Norman Charter's win over Hunter Huss and your win over Lake Norman Charter. So if you beat Hunter Huss this Friday, which a lot of us think you just might, we believe that you lock up sole possession of second place. Because look at Hunter Huss's schedule after Stuart Kramer. They got Forest U and Ashbrook, and I don't see Hunter Huss getting past either one of those teams. And Lake Norman Charter, the 2A, if Hunter Huss does somehow beat Stuart Kramer, then Huss would regain the 2A lead. And but as it stands right now, it's Stuart Kramer and then Lake Norman Charter and Hunter Huss, and one of you guys will miss the playoffs.
I would pretty much agree with what Jeff's saying. I think South Point has a good shot to finish running the table and go through the conference undefeated. Forest View has still got they still yet, except for South Point, they still yet got their toughest conference games ahead of them in Ashbrook, Hunter Huss, and East Gaston. they could lose any of those games. They could win them all.
Mhm.
Who knows? East Gaston is somewhat different. They're sitting at 2-2, along with Ashbrook and Stuart Cramer. Although Stuart Cramer is in the 2A bracket. East Gaston has got North Gaston, Stuart Cramer, Forest View still yet on the slate. Ashbrook still yet looking at Forest View as well, but also Lake Norman Charter. And here's the thing. Here's what I think is going to be. Here's what I think it'll come down to. I think it'll come down to the last game of the season for Ashbrook between them and Huss, because that's always a big rivalry. And that's one of those games where you can truly throw the schedules out the window. I'm sorry, the records out the window, because it does not matter. Um, the underdog has won probably just as many times as the favorite in that particular game. And so I think Ashbrook's season is going to hang on in the balances with what they do between them and Huss on the last night of the year in the regular season. I don't see North Gaston making the playoffs. And Stuart Cramer, for a school with this first group of seniors, is in an excellent position to make the playoffs for the first time. As a matter of fact, I think that they're going to take the number one spot in 2A in this conference, followed by Hunter S. Now, I'm not sure if three teams will make it. If Lake Norman Charter will only make the playoffs if three teams from this conference are taken. Obviously because of the numbers, but and if they need somebody else, but because I don't think Lake Norman's going to win enough games to get there otherwise. Because right now they only have 3 wins, and I don't really see a win left on the schedule for them. So that's why I look at this Big South.
Well, this last Friday taught us don't write any of these teams off just yet, because crazy things have happened in this conference this year. So, but that's our take on the Big South 3A, 2A, and hope everybody has a great week.